In this video, I'm going to go over the nomenclature of alkanes. So we have two practice problems here. We're going to first start off with this alkane over here. So the very first thing to do to determine the nomenclature of an alkane is to determine the longest chain, where our longest chain is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon chain. And it does not matter if we go from right to left or left to right, because our very first substituent is on the same exact atom, which is going to be atom 3 in this case. If we go from right to left, we have our first substituent at carbon 3, 1, 2, 3, right there. If we go from left to right, then we have our first substituent at carbon 3 as well, 1, 2, 3. So it does not matter if we go from left to right or right to left. In this case, I'm just going to go from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the next thing is to determine the substituents of the longest chain. We see that our substituents are these methyl groups on carbons 3 and 4, where that is going to be 3, 4 dimethyl. And we put commas because there are two methyl groups on carbons 3 and 4, and we put dashes between numbers and letters. And since this is a 6 carbon long chain, this base name is going to be hexane. So here are our fragments of the nomenclature of this alkane over here. The very last step is to just combine these fragments together to give us our final answer, which is going to be 3,4-dimethyl-hexane. And the reason why we don't put dashes between the 3,4-dimethyl and hexane is because these two things here are letters, and we do not put dashes between letters. Now, let's go over the next practice problem, which is this alkane over here. Now, this practice problem is a little trickier than this one because it does matter if we go from left to right or right to left. Let's say we go from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is our longest chain. If we go from right to left, we also get 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But in this case, it does matter because if we go from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, our first substituent is on carbon 4. Whereas if we go from right to left, 1, 2, 3, our first substituent is going to be on carbon 3. And we want to number in a way where the first substituent will be on the lowest number possible. So since 3 is lower than 4, we're going to number this alkane from right to left, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And our longest chain is 7 carbons long, which means that our base name is going to be heptane. So now the next step is to determine the substituents of this longest chain. We see an ethyl group at carbon 3 and 2 methyl groups at carbon 4. So we do 3 dash, because we put dashes between numbers and letters, ethyl, and then the other fragment is going to be 4, 4 dash dimethyl. So now, in this case here, we have 3 fragments, 1, 2, 3. Heptane is always going to be the base, the very end of the chain. Whereas these 2 fragments here, we are going to alphabetize it, where we're going to look at E and M. We ignored the D and the dimethyl in this case. So we know that E comes before M, which means that 3-ethyl will come first. And then we have to put a dash here to connect the other fragment because we are combining a letter and a number. So that's going to be 4 dash dimethyl heptane. So here is the final answer for this alkane.